Happening now, new details on Malaysian Flight 370. We'll show you why people are upset about the announcement.
Hundreds of people are missing as rescue efforts after a deadly landslide continue about 55 miles north of Seattle.
And the Mendota Bridge on Highway 55 near the Twin Cities is open today after a 61-car pileup. You're watching KSSU News at 12:30. Good afternoon, I'm Josh Spreiter.
And I'm Leah Danielson. Thank you for joining us.
Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 has not been found, but we now know the most definitive news about the plane that's been missing since March 8th. Polo Sandoval has the latest news from Washington.
Authorities say the flight ended in the waters of the South Indian Ocean with no survivors. All 239 people lost.
It's been 17 days. They simply just give us this result. How can people bear this?
The possible fate of the flight came from a definitive statement by the Malaysian Prime Minister.
It is therefore with deep sadness and regret that I must inform you that according to this new data, flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean.
A spokesperson for Malaysia Airlines says they met and called most family members before sending them this text message before the Prime Minister spoke. There was screaming, cursing, and wailing. Some so distraught they had to be wheeled out of the meeting on emergency beds. After 17 days of hope, the raw pain of the moment now setting in. Earlier today, Australian officials announced they have a lead. They spotted two objects in the key search area. One of them is a gray or green circular object, the other an orange rectangular object. So far, nothing has been definitively linked to the plane. Although some answers were given today, the mystery remains.
Rescue efforts after a deadly landslide continue about 55 miles north of Seattle. At least 14 people were killed Saturday, and hundreds are still missing in a massive mudslide in Snohomish County, Washington. At least 8 people, including an infant, were taken to a local hospital for treatment. Mud and trees blocked the Siligamush River and completely covered the State Road 530. At least 6 homes have been destroyed. Paulo Focal said the mudslide hit quickly.
I was coming down the hill, I just saw the darkness. Like somebody wants to grab you from the and everything was gone, like 3 seconds.
Officials say there is potential for serious flooding downstream from the part of the river that is blocked. Residents in the affected area are urged to evacuate.
The Senate voted Monday to advance a Ukrainian aid package. In a 78-17 vote, senators agreed to begin debate this week on the legislation. The Senate measure includes $1 billion in loan guarantees for Ukraine and $150 million in direct aid. It also includes sanctions against Russian officials and former Ukrainian officials responsible for the violence against protesters. Getting full congressional approval for the legislation could be difficult. The White House, most Senate Democrats, and a few Republicans want to include reforms to the International Monetary Fund in the bill. Most Republicans in the House and Senate are against it. Lawmakers are blaming each other for slowing Washington's response to the crisis. And now we're going to head over to the KSSU Weather Center where Ryan Bartz is standing by. And Ryan, it sounds like we have some warmer weather in the future.
Yes, Josh and Leah, we are going to expect some pretty amazing warmer weather coming up in the future. But we have a couple of surprises for you on Tuesday and Wednesday. So tune in later in the newscast to figure out what I'm really talking about with these surprises. Josh and Leah, back to you.
The Mendota Bridge on Highway 55 is open again today after a 61-car pileup. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, the pileup occurred early Monday afternoon when 2 vehicles lost control and crashed. A semi then jackknifed and caused even more cars to crash. 1 person was transported to the hospital and was treated for minor injuries.
As SMSU students well know, tomorrow is advising day. Students will not have classes during the day tomorrow and will meet with their academic advisors to discuss their upcoming fall semester. Students should come with topics in mind to discuss to get the most out of their advising meeting. Classes will resume at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. And we'll be right back. You're watching KSSU News at 12:30.
It must be love. It must be hospice.
Maplewood police are investigating a man who shot his son and then stabbed himself on Monday. According to WCCO, 84-year-old Peng Vang shot his 36-year-old son, Chu Vang, before stabbing himself. Authorities have revealed that a dispute occurred between the father and son before the shooting. Peng Vang barricaded himself in a bedroom and refused to come out after shooting his son. Chu Vang was pronounced dead at the scene. A warrant has been issued for the home while the investigation continues.
Public transportation is more popular than ever in the Twin Cities. Minnesotans took 94 million rides on public transportation last year. That number is up 7 million since 2007. According to the Star Tribune, the steep increase can be attributed to high gas prices, a recovering economy, and more options for service.
As e-cigarettes grow in popularity, so do related health concerns. A bill that would classify e-cigarettes similar to the traditional kind was presented to the Minnesota Senate yesterday. The bill cleared the Senate Commerce Committee and would add a so-called vaping to state indoor air laws. Currently, scientific studies have been inadequate in determining the possible dangers of e-cigarette smoke. According to WCCO, anti-smoking groups believe that until more research is done, the public should not be exposed to the emissions.
Spring means prom season, but with rising costs, many girls can't afford to attend the event. According to ABC News, the average overall cost for one teenager to attend prom can reach over $1,000. Fortunately, Marshall High School found a solution and is making sure everyone can attend prom. Operation Prom Dress was held on Saturday at Marshall High School. The event paired girls with a volunteer assistant to make sure each girl found the perfect dress, shoes, and accessories. Fantastic story there. We're now joined with Ryan Bartz in the Weather Center once again. And Ryan, it looks like we could be touching 60 come the weekend.
Yes, we are going to be touching almost 60 degrees in the next weekend as well. But the surprises that I have, 55 degrees on tomorrow, Wednesday, but we're going to be dropping down to 40 degrees, and get this, a mix of rain, snow, and wind. I know, right? Let's take a look at our Avera Sky Cam, courtesy of KSFY. It is very sunny, clear skies today, and it will continue on for most of the day today. Taking a look at our weather almanac today is a high of 30 degrees and a low of 20. An average, we're almost average, 45 and 24 today, but take a look at the record high and low today, 80 degrees in 1967 and -2 in 1955. So there is a huge difference out there as well. Taking a look at our Midwest Doppler radar, courtesy of weather.com, very clear among the upper Midwest, but we're gonna see some parts in Des Moines and Davenport, Iowa, as they get some snow in that area, which also affects our travel weather advisory. Clearly, the roads are pretty clear, but we are going to see some winds in the central and western North Dakota and in the northern South Dakota, and these winds are going to get about more than 30 miles per hour as well, so definitely be on the lookout as well. Taking a look at our current surface, we're going to see some high surface pressures into the upper Midwest, but we are actually going to see a cold front going down to Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma as well. Taking a look at our current temperatures, 12 degrees out in the Twin Cities, 10 degrees in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and 15 degrees in Pierce, South Dakota. So we're definitely going to see a mix of early teens and in the late 20s for temperature-wise in the upper Midwest. Now let's take a look at our 4-day weather forecast for Marshall, Minnesota. Clear today, it is 30 degrees with a low of 20 degrees, but Wednesday, we're going to see a pretty big heat wave, partly cloudy with a high of 53. But on Thursday, like I said before, a mix of rain, snow, and wind with 80% chance of it. The high 40 degrees and a low of 22, I believe. Friday is partly cloudy with a high of 37 and a low of 26. Now is a look at your KSSU weather forecast. I'm Ryan Bartz. Leah and Josh, back to you.
Fantastic news, Ryan. Coming up next in KSSU Sports, Dylan Curfman is here with some Darren Sharper updates concerning his trial.
He also has a look at some NCAA tournament updates.
We'll be right back. You're watching KSSU News at 12:30.
At Southwest Minnesota State University, our students come first. It's a commitment you can see in our new Regional Events Center, Residence Hall, Student Center, and Science Lab renovation. We've invested over $80 million in the past decade for top-notch facilities. And we're not stopping there. Southwest Minnesota State University, it's where you belong.
Former NFL safety and Minnesota Viking Darren Sharper was expected to appear in court on Monday to face charges in an Arizona rape case. A state grand jury indicted him for allegedly drugging and raping 2 women in Tempe last year. Sharper is also under investigation in California, Louisiana, Nevada, and Florida in cases of alleged sexual assault. So far, he has only been charged in California and Arizona. Sharper remains jailed in Los Angeles after being denied bail earlier this month. He has pleaded not guilty in the California case and denies the other charges. His attorney said he maintains any sex was consensual. And now, this past weekend's NCAA tournament games featured plenty of upsets and bracket busters, such as Dayton defeating Ohio State and Mercer defeating Duke, and of course the Baylor and Crane game also being no exception. Doug McDermott and his number 3 seed Creighton taking on 6 seed Baylor in San Antonio. And McDermott did not have the kind of game neither he or Crane had hoped for. McDermott only 1 for 4 in the first half from the field. Now, McDermott never was able to get it together, and they finished the first half with just 3 points, and Baylor led 20 at the half, 40-20 Baylor. And in the second half, more of the same. Baylor got up to 24 points, making it 58-34, and Bradley Helsip also making his contribution. Baylor's Helsip 5 for 7 from long range throughout the contest. Helsip totaled of 17 points and an emotional moment in the end for Doug McDermott. McDermott hugging his father, Crane head coach Greg McDermott, and his mother watching on. An end to a phenomenal college career by McDermott, and Baylor is going to the Sweet 16. The final score 85-55, the Baylor Bears making a very strong case as a 6th seed to go all the way, as they also handily defeated Nebraska also in the early tournament games. Now, if you have me picking Wisconsin to beat Baylor, it's going to be a tough one, but I really have good feelings that Baylor could be this year's surprise team to go all the way. But either way, that'll do it. The games will pick up this Thursday in the NCAA tournament. My name's Dylan Curfman for Sports. We'll be right back.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
So Ryan, warm weather in the future?
Yes, warm weather this weekend, but definitely some big surprises on Wednesday and Thursday, like I said before.
All right, fantastic news. Thank you for joining us today at 12:30. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube. Just search KSSU Television.
And from all of us here at KSSU, have a great week.